I'm Phil Campbell, at Phil Campbell on Twitter. I'm with Marsha. Hello, Marsha.
Hello, Phil.
From Secret Kitchen Nottingham. So I think it's secretkitchen.com. Yeah?
TheSecretKitchenCafe.com.
TheSecretKitchenCafe.com. We're going to create a series of about 6 episodes of 5 minutes in length, and they talk about a variety of topics. And today, I really wanted to get the history of Secret Kitchen. So give us a little bit of a background about Secret Kitchen.
Okay, a couple of years ago, I was doing lots of voluntary cooking locally.
Yeah.
And I identified that there was a real missing element in the area that I lived, which is Sneinton, about 10 minutes away from here, was there was nowhere to go for a cup of coffee, which I thought was absolutely bonkers, seeing as we had a dog grooming parlour and a pet shop. So attending quite a few meetings about community-based stuff, about what people wanted, and the same themes kept coming up over and over again. And I thought at the end of it, you know, perhaps I should be doing something. Was then having an interview with someone else about something completely different, and we actually spent the whole time talking about teapots and jam. And then they said to me, Marsha, please set up a cafe. And I thought, yeah, actually, why don't I just set up a cafe?
They knew that you could cook, right?
Yes, because I've been cooking voluntarily at Cafe Sneinton, which is like a Saturday morning sort of cafe that we're running. And also been doing lots of cooking voluntarily for like City Farm and that sort of stuff. So people knew that I could cook. And I had sort of a bit of a following through that, but it was something very informal. But obviously just thinking about it, really putting 2 and 2 together, realising that I knew something was missing and that other people wanted me to do some cooking. It wasn't really that much of a sort of stretch to think about just setting up my own thing.
So what parts of the equation sort of came together? I mean, you put yourself out there, you show you could cook, people like the food. You started to see did you see the community angle at that stage, or was it?
Yeah, definitely. If I wanted it to be a community cafe, you know, that was my whole emphasis was on that stuff, because I've been doing lots of voluntary stuff within the community, and I was doing lots of cooking in the background. So I certainly saw that as an element which would bind people together, and there was obviously this really strong sort of community sort of aspect of cooking that I was sort of in favour of. So yeah.
Cool. So describe the kitchen. Describe, you know, what it was you ended up with, and. Well,
when there's space, I think this is evidence to me of how things work very well. That I think it was in under 3 months from literally having that conversation about starting up a cafe. Within under 3 months, it was my opening night at the cafe. Was you were there?
Yeah.
So really, how that happened was, first of all, looking at things like business plans and going to see a business advisor, being told to go and see a business advisor, and that sort of stuff, and wrote a business plan basically just to jump through the hoop, because at the business meeting, they would just start firing out all these figures and profit and loss, and I was just like, oh god, you know, I just want to make some pies.
Yeah.
And but also explain to them. They said like, what's your concept sort of thing? And I said, what I want to do is just like set up a little cafe space somewhere where people can sort of come and have teas and coffees. I'm just going to make some soup, and I'm going to make some cake, and I'll make a bit of lunch, and that'll be a bit really. When it's gone, it's gone. I'm not like really fussed about having a really sort of big menu or any of this sort of stuff. I just want to do the sort of type of cooking that I like doing, the type of food that I want to eat, and that's it really, literally. It was like they just totally didn't get the concept.
But do you think they didn't get the concept because they think of things on scale, and in terms of, you know, they're looking for projects that give them an image, or did they understand the payoff? Was that the problem?
The reason was because they're business people,
right?
Whereas I was actually a community, sort of more of a community minded. I believed that I would get money back, but my main thing wasn't, I wasn't operating as a business to make money. It was a different intimation for me. It was a different intent, and I think that was the difference, is that they were like, oh, what about your customers? People want breakfast paninis and they want all these other bits and bobs. And I thought, well, when I go to a cafe, actually all I want is something nice.
Right.
I don't really want loads of choice. I actually just want something that's nice, especially if I know it's been freshly cooked. And I thought, well, I am that customer. So basically my intention was different. I was looking selfishly to please myself, and also just to do what I wanted to do. That was the difference. I wasn't coming from this, how can I set up a sort of a business to make money? It was a different sort of thing.
Let's quickly finish on, because we've got about a minute. Let's finish on the intent, because I think that's an important word that you brought up there. You know, let's talk about the second-hand teacups and stuff like that. There's a story behind those as well. Tell me about that.
Basically, I love vintage stuff, but I thought, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I don't want all this shiny new stuff that's going to cost loads of money. But it's also that it's wasteful. For me, it's like, there's just one dish. We don't chuck stuff away. We try to make the most of what we've got. So I went out, and again, it's just an opportunity for me to go looking in skips and go to car booties, basically. But buying things that people would have chucked away: tea towels, plates, teapots, all this nice stuff that just needs someone to appreciate it and give it the frequency of appreciation and have that positive intention in terms of, it doesn't need to cost loads of money. You add value to it hugely when you put your love and appreciation into it. And so that's sort of the whole ethos behind it. Sort of looking at Secret Kitchen, yeah.
That's it for episode 1. We're going to catch up with Marsha on episode 2. We're going to talk about TEDx, Lace Market, and the experience that she had there.